welcome to Tea Time with me, Shaili Chopra. It's a rather windy day here in Delhi at the DLF Golf Club, but yet when it comes to golf, everyone's game for business, which is exactly why we've got an aviation technology genius, Ankur Bhatia, who runs the Bird Group now. He started Amadeus and now he has a whole set of sectors that are participating in his mini conglomerate. The group's come a long way now from being the Amadeus, so to speak,
Right.
to a multiple set of businesses. Talk to us about the growth story.
Well, as you know, that we started off as a travel representation company, expanded into travel technology, went into ground handling and airport services, and now expanded into luxury, hospitality and luxury retail. So the growth has been good, and I think the impetus now goes more into the airport services angle as well as into the hospitality services. We open our first hotel in the next 6 to 8 months.
Where is this hotel coming up?
It's in New Delhi. It's called the Dusit Devrana, New Delhi. It's a 5 super high-end luxury hotel. We are putting up 50 rooms with that, and we're targeting the top niche audience in that.
Okay. So I can see that while aviation was something that was more mass, now you're getting into slightly more, I would say, niche spaces. But why? Why this transformation?
We've essentially always been a B2B company, and I think that's been our focus because we've been working on the back end. For travel technology, for example, we represent nearly 60% of all the travel transactions which happen in the country right now. That would mean every second passenger who's going to the airport, or even more than that, is actually done and ticketed through our system. But we've never been in the forefront of business. Hospitality gets us into the forefront of business.
So it's the last mile connect.
It is, but having said that, that is still a very niche kind of an audience we're looking at. We're not going for mass. We're not going on to the 3-star kind of thing. It's the higher end where we are targeting.
So
right
all
now.
of this obviously has kept you away from your game, has it?
Yes, it has, of course. I mean, you need time for a game. Golf is a great game, but you need time for it. And unfortunately, that is, I've been able to give only limited amount of time for
and
the game.
especially since because the market's recovering rapidly?
Well, the market last year was not very good because of the overall global recession and everything else. This year, it's beginning to look good. Unfortunately, we had this accident of the Air India Express, because of which has actually given a scare down. So the numbers have got affected immediately.
They have?
They have. Because it's a very sensitive sector. I mean, people do get sensitized to anything which does happen. And since we are necessarily a travel transaction driven company, that's why we have this issue that we get affected immediately.
So, the game of golf, I believe your son is sort of already becoming a half pro by himself.
Well, not, I mean, he's practicing and he loves the game. He plays dedicatedly. And I think that's something which is getting inculcated in him in a very early age. He's just 7, 8 years right now, so it's important for him to start to learn earlier. The earlier you are into the game, it's always better. I think the same is very true for business as well, so I guess that he'll start learning early.
I like the way you already hinted the fact that you guys were among the first movers. So I remember even initially you were always Amadeus versus Galileo. That was like a constant fight. Well, we're going to talk about much more in his business space, but that's ahead. Tell us about how is your aviation space dealing with the whole idea of getting, aviation and retail, high-end retail, two other ends of the spectrum. Precisely how are you trying to make money on every end?
Well, as far as aviation is concerned, we do a lot of back-ending services. I mentioned to you, we do reservation systems, ground handling, MRO services, communication.
So that's
we are
one
attached to it. That's one end of the spectrum. Now, how luxury retail comes into space is that because of hotels, hospitality, we will have necessary real estate space coming in where we will be selling luxury, we'll be selling stuff. Okay. So rather than wanting to get out and letting that space out, I said, let's get some own brands essentially for ourselves so that we actually up the market there in terms of what kind of retailing brands we do get in.
So what retail brands are these?
Well, we've started with Porsche Design right now, which is a great brand. I've been a Porsche fan always. It's been a great brand. We do sell BMW cars. We are one of the leading dealerships in the country. And Segway. Segway is a personal transporter. It's a niche product which actually gets for people to be operating in closed environments, campuses, also for patrolling. So that product has been just launched by ourselves, and I think it'll catch on very well.
You've been looking at what's happening in aviation, and since that's your traditional business, I would be interested in knowing what do you feel about the kind of slowdown, the hiccups that we've lately seen here in India, and to what extent has the whole consolidation story eased out or sort of aggravated?
Well, the consolidation bit had already happened with the likes of Kingfisher Jet and Indian Airlines merging with Jet Light, Deccan and Air India, nasal kind of a thing. Having said that, all these people and including the new low-cost carriers are actually fighting for the same space. There haven't been any new sectors that have been created. Now, in India, the country's got a population base of 300 million people, where you're talking about the middle class as per se. Now, these people need to travel shorter distances. They're traveling in the vicinity of 800, 900 kilometers, and those airports still haven't got connected as yet. So I think that is where you would see the new impetus coming in.
But why does it seems like the private sector is so much more interested in the large airports because they get better revenue?
They are absolutely, and the other thing is that this is a market. These are markets which are already being created, and these markets can easily. It's a matter of then getting off passengers or increasing the base of passengers. But I think the growth in terms of exponents and in terms of millions of passengers will only happen with regional. Unfortunately, we don't have that infrastructure right now. The regional airports are not ready, A. Second, the city airports, Delhi is undergoing renovation right now. Mumbai doesn't have the capacity to play as a regional airport.
So then how does the Bird Group through Amadeus, for example, sort of get incremental revenue? I think for some of our viewers this would be interesting.
I think as Amadeus is concerned, we've increased on market share. So we've gone up to nearly 60% there. We power travel technology companies like Make My Trip, like Yatra. They use our back-ending services for their bookings, and that's one of the growth strategies.
So the online space is active?
Absolutely. Plus again, on the travel distribution front, we've actually got another system called the Bird Rest system, which actually integrates non-GDS traditional content. So when there was a slowdown, we thought, what do we do next? So we've tried up with IRCTC, which is Indian Railways, and we also empower the travel agencies who use our technologies to actually make Indian Railway bookings. And that's a huge market. You're talking about 800 million transactions on an annualized basis. So even if we get a 4-5% market share of that, I think that's a good business impetus for us.
Okay, so aviation is continuing to be the key driver of the group's revenues?
Travel, I would say, rather than aviation, because now we do have a bit in rail as well. In fact, we've actually expanded our travel technology division to the Middle East as well.